Hello everyone, I am Ashwin. Today we are going to review the magazine which was written by John Teichler. Okay, first of all I will tell about the author. John Teichler is a Chief Technology Officer of Applied Signal Technology in California. He is a fellow of IEEE and received the IEEE Signal Processing Society's Technical Achievement Award in 2000. In this magazine, he has discussed about many things about the signal processing cycle. Actually, the topic of the magazine is signal processing, a review of the future, written part 1. He has done 2 parts, but I am just explaining the part 1. The part 1, he has explained like the signal processing cycle, a specific example also given in that. The example was radar system. Proof and concept also given, and some other example also given in this magazine. So now let's get into the topic. The author has started giving the magazine like this by adding captions. Yogi Berra, the famous baseball catcher, is reported to have said it's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. So he's added this caption, and he has added the word that making prediction isn't odd at all. And he said we will try to predict the future processing, and he has added we will try to predict the future of signal processing with the intent of being able to use those predictions to do some intelligent planning. In the subheading Objective and Approach, he has said that while just making a list of guesses might surface the approach, we will use it drawn from the time series analysis. We will analyze the past for useful historical patterns and attempt to extend them into the future to predict what the signal processing field will look like over the next 20 years, presuming that we will do our jobs properly. In the part 2, he has also explained about this clearly, but in part 1 we will see that he has just given a conclusion that concluded in this topic that he will build on this model of progress to discuss more grand challenges for signal processing field in terms of both the applications he expects to it address and what we need to do in order to achieve those objectives. He has given an oversimplified definition of signal processing. Let's look at it. The definition he says is for the purposes of this column, we need a simple basic definition of signal processing. The one I use here is based on the fact that applications have always driven signal processing innovation. In fact, the need for signal processing almost always arises when a transducer used in an application. You know what's the meaning of transducer? Transducer is nothing but a signal, a form of signal, a pulse, or something, a wave you can say, that we will get from a transducer. For example, a microphone or an antenna. There are a number of ways this short file can occur. A transducer might not measure what we really want to measure. The quality might not be good enough. The resolution might not be wrong. The transducer might produce more data than we can transit or store. There may be perpetual shortcomings. The next question asked is what mathematical operations can signal processing perform on transducer measurements to make them closer to our needs or liking. The mathematical operations can be implemented in several ways, including analog circuits, digital circuits, and by using software alone or standard computers. For the purpose of this, column 1 will be discriminating between analog and digital implementation of signal processing, since both are useful in almost all practical applications. Next he has said about the signal processing cycle. A historical examination of number of signal processing success stories reveals that each one has followed a set of roughly predictable steps with an extended example to follow shortly. He has listed few of them here. Impossible requirement, development of the new theory or the extension of existing theory, proof concept, technical enabled cost reduction, commercial success, upping the antenna, and recycle, many more like that. So now first we will look about the impossible requirement. The statement of the objective that common wisdom deems impossible to achieve using currently available technologies. Uh, Developing the new theory in that we needed to analyze the problem and design a solution without concern for the issue associated with its implementation. The demonstration typically via an expensive hero experiment proving the theory does work. The problem can be solved if the cost and other constant weren't the issue. Technology enabled cost reduction. It states that bringing down the price to a level that enables commercial success. If you go under commercial success of the basic product and a range of unanticipated variants in the marketplace. And last comes the recycle. Starting all over with an even more outrageous, impossible requirement that it is at least loosely related to one that has been successfully addressed, whether the application is a vacuum tube based radio for home entertainment in the 1930s or a cellular phone in the 1980s. Truly, significant signal processing based product seems to progress through all these steps and takes some number of years, typically 20 years, to complete a cycle. After each cycle, the next cycle has always unfolded in its turn. What are all told till now, and he has given an example clearly to explain all these topics which I have discussed earlier. And he has taken the topic that radar systems. While there are many examples of application following the cycle, it is useful to pick one and follow it through all the steps. The external historical example is the air search radar. A photo of antenna for the one is also given in that article. I am adding that article in the description. Radars such as this one transmitted powerful pulses of the radio frequency energy is 400 to 450 MHz band with the goal of detecting and tracking aircraft as far as 300 miles from the radar. The azimuth of any detected target was determined by the angular position of the directional antenna, while the range was measured using the round trip time between the transmitted pulses and those reflected from the target. The measurements were displayed in especially raw form on a cathode ray tube, and all other desired information had to be inferred manually by the radar operation. Given this background, we can state an impossible requirement and proceed from there. The impossible requirement fully exploit the returned radar pulses, replacing the manual processing of radar returns with automatic processing capable of obtaining such information as target range, that is, velocity towards the ship, target heading, target orientation, and the number of targets present in a single blip. Theoretical development. Since the pulse radar produced periodic measurement of distance and the desired information can be obtained from them, it was recognized that the desired processing was a sampled data of discrete time processing problem. The theory developed for the application set the stage for digital filtering and many other digital signal processing subfields. The proof of the concept. A variety of devices, including the analog, delay lines, and special purpose digital computers, were developed to demonstrate the viability of radar signal processing, as it was called. It worked, but it was too expensive and fragile for shipboard to use. Now comes the cost reduction. Given the proof of concept, work in many fields, including radio frequency devices and semiconductors led to a sustainable reduction in the size, weight, power consumption, and cost of signal processing equipment, some analog and some digital, needed to perform the desired function. Or, in this case, reaching the price point and the maturity that allowed the US Navy to apply this technology broadly. Further price reduction permitted its use in an extraordinary variety of commercial and pleasure craft 2 decades later. Upping the antenna. Having achieved success in the first set of objectives, the question arises whether these new signal processing technologies could solve other vexing problems they were subsequently applied, first in analog and then in digital form, to remove reflections from land masses, to show only moving targets, to improve range resolution using pulse compression and reduce the effect of jamming. A classical example of this is development of synthetic aperture radar (SAR) to form all-weather day and night ground maps and ground map of the Earth using radar pulses. SAR uses sophisticated signal processing technology to overcome the fact that radar antenna can't be built large enough to obtain the desired narrow beam size or the resolution needed for the useful maps. Now let's discuss about recycle. Following this cycle, though to competition usually provides the confidence to take or what would have been considered at the beginning a doubly outrageous object, one so difficult that it was obviously unachieved and therefore wouldn't be taken seriously at the beginning of the first cycle. Based on the decades of building radar with even more sophisticated digital signal processing, the question was posed whether the same concept would be applied in sonar system. The system shown in figure 2, that figures also I have uploaded in the description, contains a systematic aperture sonar. Systematic aperture sonar means SAS, which uses all the concepts developed for SAR but must also accommodate the fact that water is much more complicated medium through which to operate than air. Not only was it achieved by the system shown, it was achieved with a size, weight and power consumption so low as to be inbuilt by the radar. We note also in passing that the sonar sensor is only one of the many DSP enabled subsystems aboard this autonomous underwater vehicle AUV. Other application at different point in the cycle. Is radar the only application that follow the cycle? Absolutely not. A short list of these other that occupy position somewhere in the cycle as well. Some near the beginners and the others near the recycle point. So one can conclude that there is a great deal of signal processing yet to be done for applications that were currently understand, much less than the one we haven't even recognized yet. Where do we as a community go for here too? As we done, even though there is apparently a continuous stream of application work still before us. Have we exhausted the need to teach and do research in the signal processing data area? In the second part, he has explained many things about these questions. Now, in this paper, he has said that while signal processing and DSP in particular has gotten so inexpensive to implement that it has been applied to an extraordinary variety of applications, we who have created the intellectual and educational basis for it are now wondering if it's all done and our energy should be spent in other ways. He has argued to the contrary. Specifically, he has argued that three things. The first thing is signal processing has become fundamental to many engineering disciplines and therefore need to be taught on a virtual universal basis, not just to aspiring electrical engineers. Second thing is there are many so-called impossible applications yet to take on. And the third thing is we need to adjust our outlook and focus our engineers focus our energies in order to continue SP development so that we may achieve the potential. Thank you.